are shows with psychics,
and there are shows with doctors.
but there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit,
in tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
Require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Welcome, everyone, to The Psychic and the Doc. The show tonight is entitled The Dance Between the Light and the Dark, a new perspective on the solar eclipse. And this Saturday, March 29th, there's going to be a partial solar eclipse, which has tremendous spiritual significance about the end of one old world and beginning a season of new change. I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, and I'm here with my incredible co-host, the one and only Dr. Pat Baccili, world-renowned behavioral psychologist, founder of the Transformation Network, star of the multiple award-winning The Dr. Pat Show, which you can tune into pretty much every day. And Dr. Pat, how's it going today?
Yeah, it's going really well. I am very excited about this. And, you know, out of all the things I've done, there is one thing that I haven't done that you've done multiple times. That is write a book and have it become not only a best-selling book, but have it be in demand. And so that's on my radar to do now that my trademark for Unstuckable, we finally got past other people trying to take that thing, right? Okay.
So Unstuckable got unstuck.
It got unstuck. Thank you, Jamaica. Thank you for taking care of that, my trademark person. Today is a very special time to talk about this eclipse. So here's what we want to say. Everybody has been feeling it. Now, even if you're so out of touch with yourself, you have been feeling it. Today, I had a meeting with Linda and Jessica, and I ended up crying. So I know I'm feeling it because then I watched the opener that Nat did for one of our shows, Shakti Durga, and brought me to tears. So why is that? Well, if you understand, this solar eclipse is in Pisces. Pisces is that, I dated a Pisces once. Oil and vinegar do not mix. But I just want to say, one of the most creative people I've ever met, an incredible artist, just so many things. And here I am in the middle of losing my job and going back to school for a master's. Clearly, this point in time in our lives, I don't care that you developed a new font, right? But I have since grown since then. I have grown. This eclipse, you either going to grow with it, or you're going to glow with it, or you got to go. It is that kind of energy. What are you feeling, Mark?
Well, I think things are definitely turbulent right now, but turbulence is not always a bad thing. And when we were discussing the topic for this show, the dance between the light and the dark, and there's always an automatic assumption that the dark is negative because, you know, it's like light is good, dark is evil, but there's positive, negative, there's masculine, feminine. You know, you've got to have one for the other. And the balance between light and dark, I mean, there's light and dark within everybody. We all have masculine and feminine energies within us. We all have positive and negative feelings in us. And it's all part of the balance of the universe. And an eclipse is always fascinating because it is the balance between the light and the dark. Our source of light, the sun, is suddenly getting eclipsed. And we become very, very well aware that there is indeed a fine line and a balance between light and dark. Now, as a member of the legal profession, and everybody out there, I am not currently practicing law, nor will I be ever taking law clients again, because the focus of my life now is on my spiritual work, which includes doing the psychic and the doc. And a lot of people think that it's either yes or no, light or dark, one way or the other. But in the legal profession, you have the light, you have the dark, and then there's the gray area in between. And
Is that my internet now?
I think that's where most of us are, is in that gray area in between. That's why, I mean, not everybody is either light or either dark. Everybody has components of both within them. And so the gray area is very important, and the eclipse shows us literally and figuratively what that gray area is. So, Nat, why don't we go to a short break just for a moment? We got a technical glitch that we need to fix, and everyone, we'll be right back. Hey, everybody, I was talking before the break about the light, the dark, and the gray area in between, and all of a sudden, Dr. Pat got pulled into the vortex of the gray area. We had a technical glitch, but now she's in the light. So, Dr. Pat, you have a very interesting insight on the spiritual and symbolic significance of this eclipse. Go ahead and share that with everybody.
Not every eclipse is like this one. This one is really clear, even though we're in Aries, everybody knows about Aries, but here's the deal. This is either going to solidify some connection in your life, whatever that is, right? Or it's going to push you towards something new. Yep, that's what it's doing to us. Or it's going to clear out any relationship that's past its expiration date. So for me, all of that's going on. You understand, right? And that may be the case for you all. So if it feels uncomfortable, it is a shakeup. It's like putting yourself in a mixer and it gets mixed around. But at the end, you get this delicious tasting shake if you can withstand the vibration of it. Now, Mark, if you have been preparing for whatever, like us, we've been preparing for a launch, right?
Right.
Then yes, we're going to welcome that. But the key is you have got to let go of your past mojo. You got to let go of it. It is the thing, Mark, that you and I both know about. I mean, especially with you, your past career, my past career, many, many things. Some people are still trying to get through the weeds of the pandemic. And yes, I want to honor that today for people. This is a show. Mark does what he does beautifully. And, Mark, for you, you have helped so many people who lost so many people during the pandemic. And just because we think we're out of it, it doesn't mean people aren't grieving. And you know what I did? I found in my neighborhood a grief group. So I want to announce it because we talk about these grief groups. So I got an email and said, well, Pat, how about where you live, where we are in Washington State? So every Saturday morning at the used to be called the Carl Gibson Center. It's now by Volunteers of America. Every Saturday morning, they meet right next to where I play ping pong. And that's up in Everett. And so I just want to share that for those of you here that were thinking to yourselves, yeah, it's in Idaho or it's here. No, right here in Washington State. Hello, I found you one. And they are great people. They bring donuts.
Donuts.
But also, this is a new moon in Aries. So come on, we got a lot to talk about. So what do you think this feels like when you think about that language of new beginnings, get rid of the past, and hello, connect? What do you think about that, Mark?
I'm actually feeling very positive about it. And the world is always turbulent. People say, oh, we're living in difficult, dark times. Well, when has it ever been wonderful?
Yeah, you should have been there in the 60s, people.
Well, yeah, or in the Cold War, or World War II, or the Great Depression, or the bubonic plague. I mean, the Earth has always had a lot of turmoil. We know about it more now because of advanced technology, and we can find out what's going on all over the world. But that being said, the world, because of that technology, it's a smaller place than it used to be, and when it gets smaller, it gets more intense. But I'm an incurable optimist, and I have a very optimistic feeling. Um, call me delusional, call me crazy, but I actually don't think we're going to blow each other up in a thermonuclear war. Now, that doesn't mean some crazy fringe country or terrorist group may not use nuclear weapons, but I don't see the earth being incinerated into a fireball. And I think that what we're going through now, this light and dark, this gray area, this phase we're entering into is getting people to understand this. I mean, we can look at like Vladimir Putin. I mean, he's a bad guy. I mean, he's like right out of a James Bond novel. He's like the James Bond villain. He's a lot of things, but he's not stupid. And he's not stupid enough to incinerate the whole world. And I really hope I'm right about that, but I believe that I am. And I do think that we're entering a new phase of a heightened awareness of the destructive capacity that we really do possess. And because of that, that's the dark. That's going to help people see the light that, maybe we shouldn't do that. So that's what I get.
Yeah. And, I was reading this today, and I just want to say this is an Ayurvedic interpretation. And there are many different forms of astrology, but I got a text message from somebody, and, we talk about it on the show, but I don't live and breathe it in my life. Like I don't Google my horoscope every day, but I got an email from a friend of mine, and they said, did you read the deal? And I love these messages. I'm like, what deal? Which deal are we talking about? And he said, did you read the deal for Sagittarius? And I said, no. And he said, this eclipse and new moon are really, really going to bring fortune and abundance. And now I pay attention to this person because he's a world-renowned person in this field. And I never debate anything with him, even though sometimes, Mark, I don't agree. And so I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, there are two zodiac signs that are targeted to foresee very good fortune and abundance during the Aries season. And I want to tell you, I found out about this after something we did this week and something that happened. So I started to read about it, and I thought, wow. So I read it, and I thought, this is actually the way I was feeling on Monday. Sunday, what I did, Mark, is something hit my heart. And I wrote an email that Jessica sent out to 20,000 people. And we're doing something with the network we've never done before. And this email captures it. We're often offering hosting and so many things, and we're doubling everything we're giving people. Why? Don't ask me why. But this is what this says. Here it is. Sagittarius, your wild spirit and love for adventure are unstoppable. Finally, is what I want to say to this person. And the universe is handing you the perfect chance to let your magic shine. Today, you're a bold archer aiming straight for success. You're ready to charge ahead and light up the world like shooting star you are. I needed to hear that because this has been the long and grinding road, Paul McCartney, right? It has not been the yellow brick road, Elton John. It has been a journey. And sometimes you have to hold on to the light. That's what this eclipse is for everybody, not just my sign, but it is a green light. Those of you Aries people out there, hello, you're going to go full speed ahead. So I hope you got a seatbelt. Cancer, past month felt like crazy town to you. Guess what? Stepping into it. So this is a go for it time. And this is what tonight's show is for, Mark. This is a go for it show. What do you think?
I think it is. And everybody, this is also not just a go for it show, but a call in show, 1-800-930-2819. because the psychic and the doc, we're here and we're on the clock.
Yes. Now, can I say something? Those
Can I
two people
stop you?
those two people I mentioned, I don't know why I'm sharing this. Elton John, I believe, is going to be on Saturday Night Live in a couple of weeks. Nat's going to have to fact check me. But Paul McCartney is writing a book, and I think the book is called Wings.
Yeah.
And so why am I bringing these two people up? I mean, think about it. I went to see Elton John in I got to guess, like 1970 maybe, with Leon Russell was the first
Wow.
act. Elton John showed up on stage. Nobody knew who he was. And I went to the Village Theater, by the way. And thank you, Nat, April 5th. And I went to the Village Theater to see him because I could not get that haunted song out of my mind. I couldn't get it out of my mind. And I knew in that moment, watching him on stage, that he would never be a second act again. You know, Leon Russell was the guy that brought him here.
Yeah.
Leon Russell was that guy. And then my friend said to me the other day, Pat, we hear you on this show, this psychic show you do. Answer this question for me. And I said, you know, Mark and I talk about a lot of things. This better be a damn good question, folks. So before we go to break, here's the question. Do you think people would be so enamored with Bob Dylan right now? And I thought he was going to say, if Timothy Chalamet didn't play, right? That wasn't his question. If Bob Dylan were born today. And I said, absolutely not. Bob Dylan was born exactly when he needed to be born. He needed to be schmoozing with Joan Baez because the time, and he knows I went down to the Greenwich Village Cafe every weekend as a teenager because I could. And I said, absolutely not. And you know what? I can't even describe those times. But someday Mark and I will talk about Woodstock, and I'll share my experience at Woodstock.
Ooh.
But the answer is no. And I said, bottom line is, the planets are now aligning for people of the past to emerge as icons of the future. See, that's the Bob Dylan story. That's the Bob Dylan story. Why did we do a movie about this guy? Hello?
Well, he changed the world with his music and his lyrics. And you're
But
right.
Why now? Why now?
Because we need to hear those things again.
Yes, we do. Yes,
Yeah,
we do.
We do.
And we need to hear from our listeners. So, Nat, what do you got for us?
All right, our first caller is going to be someone who called in last week, and we talked to him briefly. David,
Cool.
Welcome back to the show. You're on
Hey,
the show
David.
now.
How we doing?
Hey, David,
you
how
doing?
are you? You could see how we're doing, right? Really, like we're jazzed.
Rock and rolling.
All right, David.
Oh my God, I was listening to Cream earlier today. Does anybody even know who Cream is? Okay, David, how can
Eric
we help you?
Clapton, yeah.
How
Jeff
can we
Beck,
help you?
Jimmy
It's like
Page.
before Eric
No,
Clapton
that was the
became.
Yardbirds.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bohemian
I'm
Rhapsody.
telling.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. Bohemian Rat. Oh my God, are you kidding? How can we help you tonight?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I've had a lot of unusual things happen in the past year, and it's ironic that you being a behavioral psychologist and Mark being what he does, I actually am involved in both areas of both your fields, and in a lot of unique ways, so to speak. And at the very least, because my experiences have been so vast, I would just like to know, for starters, if Mark was to, for lack of a better word, jack in, so to speak, if he gets anything from upstairs, because You know,
I,
because when push comes to shove, I've had so many unusual things. I think upstairs is trying to tell me something, and for me to
yeah.
have gotten through, let's just say I'm feeling kind of guided that Mark's going to just say a nugget that's going to probably
Okay.
All right,
beyond
All right,
interesting.
David, we
Take a breath.
got
Take a
stuff
breath.
for you.
Okay,
We got
got it.
stuff for you right
All right,
now.
all right.
So
Hold on,
Mark,
David.
explain what you want David to do, because when
All
you're done with him, I'm just going to unload here.
Okay, David, what I need you to do, make sure you don't interrupt me when I'm working with a spirit. And the reason for that is it can cause me to lose the connection. Because as you've been talking, I'm feeling 3 spirits come through. And the first one is a female energy. She has a maternal vibe to her. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean a mom. It could be a stepmother or a mother-in-law, or even a grandmother. But I'm getting a female energy coming through. And with her passing, I'm feeling this lumps in the lymph glands of my throat and inner throat and under her arms, breasts. When I get lumps like that, that means an issue with the lymphatic system. It very well may have been a cancerous condition that took this woman's life. And what I'm getting from her is that her passing was not a quick event. It took some time. And it took more than just a little time. It seems to me that she was putting up a pretty darn good fight, a real good fight with this illness for a long time. And toward the end, I get that she was still mentally clear and coherent. And then one day, that was it. Like she was declining, and people like knew that things were getting worse, but nobody expected her to go precisely when she did. Does any of this resonate with you? And if it does, just give me a yes and keep it brief. Does anything there make sense?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry?
It could be my grandmother.
Would that be on your
Definitely.
mom's side of the family?
My dad's side. My grandmother, my grandmother on my mother's side as well. That could actually fit as well. Both grandmothers had similar ways they passed. So that it could be both.
Okay. What is fascinating, David, is it could be we could have both grandmothers here because spirits with a commonality tend to come in together. And from the beginning of the show till now, and it's even intensifying, they keep talking about epilepsy, epilepsy, epilepsy. Is there anyone connected to you or them? Is epilepsy an issue with you or a family member? But they keep talking about epilepsy, like some type of seizures. And I know that sounds odd,
Oh
but
my
I
God!
keep getting this. Okay, that sounds like a yes.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. This is going to kind of trip you out a little bit. My wife went into a seizure right before she died. She
There
died right
we
in my
go.
arms.
Oh.
Okay,
Oh.
so your grandmothers came through to open the door for your wife to come through, and she's making me smell the most beautiful flower. It's not a rose, and I know that we're in Aries, okay? Because we were talking about it, and this is the Aries time frame, which is essentially from March 20th to April 20th, give or take a day or so on either end.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually smelling an Easter lily, because they're not like super fragrant, but they have a really distinctive smell. Now, what this could mean, David, is a name like Lily or Lillian or an L name, but generally that's going to be an indicator of a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to you, your wife, your grannies, within Aries. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the past. It could be something going on right now, or maybe something coming up in the next couple of weeks for you.
Well, there's a couple of things. My wife passed in February. I have a birthday this month. My mother was born in April. So take your pick.
So, well, no, we don't take her pick. We take all three. We
Yeah.
take all three. So this means we got your wife here, and she wants to tell you that she's extremely proud of your fortitude, and she knows how emotionally crippling her passing was. But she said, I could not possibly have been in a better place. She died in your arms. She said that was the most beautiful way to transition, but she also realizes on the flip side, it's something that you've had to live with. She said, but instead of like saying, "Oh, that was terrible," you realize, and she's telling you this, you realize that truly was a gift. And she is so proud of your fortitude and the way you have reconstructed and rebuilt yourself. She shows like a portrait of the two of you that's in glass and a hammer shattering it, but now you've rebuilt it into a new portrait of yourself, and it's like the stained glass portrait of you. It's a really interesting imagery. And she said the symbolism of hold on, the symbolism of the lily is the symbol that you have not necessarily resurrected, but reformed yourself. Now you can respond, and then I'll turn you over to Dr. Pat. Go ahead, David.
Well, that portrait thing is going to be more of a, you're going to be a little bit more surprised about you mentioning that. On her gravestone, I have a portrait of me and her on a ceramic tile on the actual gravestone.
Wow. So that's what she's
So
showing
I'm
me,
not
but
sure if
she's
she's
showing,
indicating that.
yeah, she's showing you like that portrait shattering. In other words, the two of you are a couple, and you still are, because your relationship is now with her as spiritual as opposed to one in the physical world. But you have rebuilt yourself from the fragments of that. Wow, she's a great communicator, David, and you're a great recipient because you are getting this. Oh, and she said, by the way, stop tripping over your shoelaces. Okay. All right. What's going on with your shoes or your shoelaces, David? This seems to be some kind of joke.
Yeah, no, I'm always like, I'm very meticulous, and I'm always like multitasking. So that definitely would make sense to that. Yeah, I'm always like, yeah. When I say multitasking, I give all new meaning to that. I do have one question though. I'm not sure, and I want to be, and just because of the fact is this. In the past several months, to make a long story short, I'm not sure if you ever saw the movie Powder from 1994. Well, let's just say that I have a lot more in common with that movie than I cared to admit. And with that being said, I've had a lot of, interesting situations where, I stand out no matter where I go, in ways that would just mystify you more than you could possibly imagine. But the one thing, my question is that in the past, less than a year, I've had a recurring skin condition, and it's caused me a lot of stress. And in the end, doctors are like, they're actually going to be putting me in a medical journal, for lack of a better word, and they're in the end, I'm just trying to make sense of it because I've helped so many people. I pay forward. That's my approach to life, and in this trial, I've actually helped people all over the world, but I'm still struggling with it to a very disturbing degree. And I'm just trying to make heads or tails of it. And I've had some bizarre things where, Jesus would show up on scene in my dream state. And I hear all these interactions with the near-death experiences where they have these long conversations, but my interactions with, Jesus, so to speak,
yeah.
I found like it's a whole different look. It's like he knows me, he put me in a different category kind of mentality, and I'm really struggling with this whole thing. So if there's any insight you could, I'm not trying to say I'm way out and left, but at the end of the day, I've had so many bizarre supernatural experiences, and with this skin condition, I'm just trying to make some sense of it. At the end of the day,
go ahead, Dr. Pat.
Okay, thank you for that question. I want to get back to something you said when we first brought you on, because I want to address the skin thing, and then I'm going to share something with you. You came on and said something like, I quote, correct me if I'm wrong, I've been through a heck of a time here, right? You started out this week. You also said that last week, David. And so the question that I would ask for you, and you don't have to share it online, is what do you mean by heck of a time? Did somebody use you, mistrust you? You don't trust them, out of integrity? What is it that's happening for you at a mental and spiritual level? That's my question. Not about the skin and not about people that have passed. I really want to focus on you.
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. I guess. You know what it is. Like, I mean, because since my birth, ultimately, I approach life and I see life in a very different way. I have like the rosy colored glasses on. So when I see certain
by the
things,
way, let me just comment. I started an entire
Yeah.
network through rose-colored glasses. So you're in the right group right here, David.
Oh, well, good. Yeah. Well, no, that's perfect. Because then you understand what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
to give an example, like you would see like an act of compassion, like where it should be an automatic thing, and somebody would turn somebody away, or like do a good deed, or you do something and people look at you like you have three heads. Like, I mean, I'll see trash and that's like, I picked up trash at an intersection that was going to cause an accident, and I got rid of it. And the looks I got were like, "What are you doing?" Like,
well, let me ask you a question before you go on. Before you go on, I want to make sure we get all this in before you have to go. But what is happening, though? I mean, those are good deeds. I'm like you. I mean, honestly, except the other day I walked in the producer room and I walked past a piece of paper on the floor like 5 times. And I finally told the producer, hey, what is that? Right? Because I realized if I pick that up, that's a problem. But you see, I need to know what's wrong with how you see who you are today, because there's nothing wrong with you doing things for other people, but something has put a burr under your saddle, and I don't know what that is.
Well, you know what it is? I think it's because of the fact is that when I go through conflict, I don't understand where it originates from, because when I see out of 100 people, okay, just to give you, to keep it simple, okay, 95 people will just not want to leave their comfort zone, okay, and either help somebody or this and that, and then when I see somebody do something that's completely like inappropriate or act a certain way, and I'm blown away,
wacky.
Yeah,
wacky
like I don't understand
it's wacky
how.
to you, right?
Yeah, and I'm highly empathic, so unfortunately, I have a lot of which I have a very like I one time got approached by another empath, and they were like, "Wow, you're highly empathic." I said, "Whoa, slow down! Like, where'd you and I felt kind of violated. I was like, that was
Okay,
So unfortunately,
I got it, David.
Being highly empathic, I'm getting overwhelmed.
No, that's not the situation. That's not it. I'm gonna give you the deal. You ready? And then Mark's gonna give it to you. You're talking to two empaths. Okay. What did I have to learn? This kid from the Bronx, blah, blah, blah. What did I have to learn? It's called boundaries. Even today in my job, I realize that I work with so many hosts for the show, and I can look at where they are in the world and they wonder, why am I not doing this? Why am I not selling? And I used to step in and say, well, let me help you with that. Let's do an analysis of your website. Okay, what did I discover? They didn't want my help with that. So I felt hurt. And not only that, I could see how this could help them. But you see, one of the things you discover, especially if you study psychology or what Mark does, Mark has to have extraordinary boundaries. This is your life lesson. And I want to tell you about the skin from a spiritual perspective. But David, you're calling in because we're going to help you now. You see, your job, believe it or not, is not to take care of other people's problems. Right. The boundary and the problem with people like the three of us is we see them. And Mark, more than anybody, has had to be able to draw a line in the sand and just know when, dude, I am not going to be able to help you with that thing, right? But he can give people a message. What I do in my practice, and I'm also a sports coach. And so anybody that ever wants some sports coaching and you want to come to me, I'm just going to tell you right now, we're going to clean some stuff up. But for you, David, they're not going to do what you say. You know, there's a serenity prayer. Do you know the serenity prayer? Have you heard
Very
it?
well.
You know it.
Yep.
I have 35 years in recovery and I have 57 years in Narcotics Anonymous. And I will tell you the hardest thing for any of us to do is to accept the things we cannot change. That's got to be your mantra right now. Your skin conditions in some traditions represent either a sign of karma or a test of faith or a focus on compassion and healing. Now, I'm not saying that's you. I'm just giving you a generalization, right? But I will tell you, if you did nothing else from this call, what is that James Bond movie? Live and let die. And that is so true. Now, why because we don't want people to die. And, you know, whether it's dying on the surface and dying from the earth or, you know, Mark, help me with this, but people die inside by the choices they make.
Yes.
You can't help them, David. Mark?
Yeah. And your skin is a reflection of what's going on inside of your body, emotionally and physically. And I don't know what the doctors have said. And once again, Dr. Pat and I, you know, while we have doctorate degrees, we're not medical doctors. I'd say let's go with the basics, plenty of hydration, moisturizing, but also intense nervousness can create skin conditions. And intense nervous conditions can be generated by grief, which clearly, you know, I mean, your beloved wife passed in your arms. That's very nerve-wracking. Also, you know, what you're eating. I mean, I've met people that are as wide as they are tall, and they say, "Well, I hate water. All I drink is, you know, Pepsi or Coke." And it's like, and they're complaining about their weight, and it's like, well, what are you doing about it? Nothing. And so we have to be very, and I'm not, you know, picking on people because obesity is a difficult problem to deal with, and a lot of people are grappling with it. But you are what you eat. Let your medicine be your food and your food be your medicine. So I would suggest discussing with your healthcare provider or a holistic doctor, a certified holistic doctor, about dietary changes. Because, you know, if you're getting itchy or flaking or rashes, it isn't some random thing. There's a cause for it. And Dr. Pat, you brought up a really important point about empaths. You know, we are sponges for other people's emotions. And particularly when you're around folks that are having a difficult time, you start picking up on that. And what you don't want to do, David, is make their problems emotionally your problems. And that doesn't mean being heartless or, you know, or not compassionate, but realize that a lot of times these negative emotions are not being generated by you, but rather you are picking up on them around you and you're accepting and personalizing it. My mother was really good at teaching me how to deflect this, because she said, as an empath, Mark, particularly when I was practicing law, I go to the courthouse and oh my God, I mean, nobody is at a courthouse because they're having fun. Everybody's there because they've been under arrest or they're getting sued or they're suing somebody or they're ticked off about something. It's, you know, it's like a huge negative karma generator is a courthouse. And she said, envision that there's a group of mirrors all around you facing out that are reflecting away the negativity. So when you start picking something up negative, so, you know, use your empathic abilities. Aha, it's coming from that direction. Put mirrors there reflecting it. And when you start doing this and making it your practice, you'll find it's going to reduce your tension and stress levels.
Yeah. Now I'm going to give you a solution, because I do believe there's something very deep and personal that happened regarding this to you, David. And please, you don't have to share it, but just let me know if I'm on track. Something happened. I don't know who did it. I don't know what they did, but they hurt you. You felt hurt by whatever that was. So I want to talk to you in 3 different ways. I am one of the few people that will say, I believe in expectations. And every time I say it, one of my other best-selling author people will email me and say, there you go again. But I want to tell you, I believe in expectations. Why? because, okay, I don't know what religion you are, but let me just use the famous God one. God had an intention and had an expectation. If you believe in this, I got to create this stuff in 7 days. Hello. Now, what's the difference? You can have an expectation, but you must not have an attachment to the outcome. Do you understand? And I'll share this
Yeah,
one
no,
story. You got it. Let me share this story.
It's funny how you mentioned. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but let me finish the story. I called a
Sure.
congressperson, and I'm not going to mention who they are. And I was so proud of this congressperson. And I had to call them. And I said something like, I don't remember it. I said, you know what? I'm so proud of you. I went to PS 14. I'm so proud of you. And I'm proud of how we can come from impoverished, whatever we are, and not have a voice. And I just left this really cheesy message. And I think I joked about White Castle or something. I don't know. My phone rings, and it's a restricted number. See, when I made that message and left that message, I had no expectation on it. I didn't expect anybody to call me back, but I was putting something in the air. And then I wrote a prayer and bless this person, and please keep this person from harm. See, write down on a piece of paper, you know you're not going to be able to help these 2, 3, or 4 people. You got that, David? You're not going to be able to help them. So write on a piece of paper what you're grateful for. And I don't know what your belief is in God or spirit, but give it to whomever you believe in. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. You know, it's funny how you mentioned. It's so funny how you said the word expectation. I recently had unfortunately lower my expectations with just people in general, because I am passionate. My old pastor called me the Christian activist, because I'm always about paying it forward. He was like, and he was all like, just because you approach life with wanting to make a positive difference, that doesn't mean you can't force that approach to life on everybody. You know, and
okay, I want to help you with this, because I don't want you. No, I don't want you to lower your expectations. Please listen to me. And you and I have something in common. At age 6, an archbishop of the high Dominican Catholicism called me the daughter of Satan. Hello. Because
wow.
Why would he say that?
Because I spoke to Jesus. Thank you. Look, please listen to me, David. Lowering expectations doesn't help. If you think about it, if Greta Thunberg would have lowered her expectations about saving the planet, we'd all be not talking. I don't want you to lower your expectations. I want you to release your outcomes. I want you to release the result you think you want them to have or make. But don't ever lower your expectations. Just create the balance between what you expect, right? What you expect in the world. But no, this is out of my control. I'm not going to lower my standards, right? I sent my car company a text message. Okay, this is me. Okay. They come out with a brand new car, blah, 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 brand new car. Look at the new car, right? And I'm like, OMG. So I write him an email back and I said, thank you for notifying. I know you're trying to sell me this new car when my lease is up. And I said, guess what? In the world where every other car company has up-leveled how their vehicles look, what are you people doing? It looks like a minivan, and you're trying to get me to buy that? I mean, I really did just say, who is designing these cars for you? And then Linda says to me, you know, they're being bought out. So can you understand, David, the difference between lowering an expectation and letting go? Mark, right?
Absolutely.
Now, David, I need you to work on this.
Go ahead.
You got to work on it. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. I'm not a doctor. I work with a woman, and I'm going to tell you her name. And Mark and I'm going to plan to have her on. I work with a woman that has helped me take care of more conditions than you can imagine. And she works from the perspective that Mark mentioned. Her name is Mary Jane Mack. You can Google her. And this is somebody that scores my body and says to me, Pat, you need this nutrition. You need it. So I have one of the things right here that I took before the show. These are the people I've had to work with to stay alive because conventional medicine could not help me. I'm not a medical doctor, but I'm just saying for you, search for other solutions. But this skin thing is taking its toll on you because you're letting these people vampirism you. Mark, is that a word?
Yeah.
Vampirism?
Vampire.
So
Yeah,
David,
vampirism is.
okay. Please think about what we're saying. Please do that.
Okay,
David.
I have a question though.
Okay.
One question. What happens? What happens? Right. Okay, this is probably going to be something that you're probably not expecting on any sense of the word.
David, just get to it. Just get to it, David. We've heard everything. Okay.
Oh, I'm pretty confident this is not something you heard of. Make no mistake. I'm so different. When I get emotionally amped up, okay, I have more than one occasion. A person I was fishing with never got seasick in his life. I was feeling sick. He made physical contact with me. Now he gets
No,
seasick all
you're
the time.
not different. We got another caller,
really
so I gotta.
Yeah, we
I
get
get really
Wait.
excited.
Let me. I'm just
All
going to tell you
devices.
about this, David. I'm going to tell you we have another caller. The bottom line is this: you're not
Okay.
different than Mark and I. I have been in the presence of someone that I don't even know, and I will have a complete allergic reaction. You're not different. The bottom line is you got to learn boundaries and not put yourself around people that make you sick.
Thanks for calling, David.
Thanks, David.
Right,
call back. Thank you.
All right.
Wow. I love that. I love that call. I love what David asked because you know what he just did? We have helped thousands of people through his vulnerability. Right now, let's go to Francis.
Yes.
Yes, our next caller is going to be Francis from South Carolina. Francis, you are on the show now.
Hi, Francis. I'm going to put you right over there with Mark. How are you today? South Carolina, that's the home of the Mama Doris.
Hi, Francis.
Yes, how are you, Miss Pat?
Hey, Francis,
Are you my
can we help
godchild? Are you my godchild, Francis? Because I'd be so embarrassed if you
Yes,
are.
ma'am, I am.
Dang, girl. Dang.
Yes, I was trying to get in touch with you because I'm going to be going to Italy soon. And I
Okay,
wanted to know a little bit about
have-
our background.
Don't, oh my God. Did you know, Francis, that we have been lied to in our family? Do you know Grandpa on Mama's side was not born in Italy, was born in Brazil? Do you know you're part Latino like me?
No,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Now, do you want to connect with Mark? Because Mark is going to. Okay, but Nat, don't hang up the phone. Wait, don't hang up the phone. Nat's going to give you my cell phone.
Mark, though.
Yeah, Mark, go.
Hold on. I want to clear something up here.
Oh, God.
The reason people are called Latino is from the language Latin, which is what the Romans spoke.
Oh,
and
my
the Latin
gosh.
countries are Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, and Romania, which was conquered by the Romans, and all of those. So people that say, oh, I'm Latino, well, that includes anyone that is Portuguese, Spanish, French, Italian, or Romanian descent.
Oh, we'll take that.
There's a lot of Italians emigrated to Brazil and Argentina at the same time they were coming to New York. So, Francis, how can we help you?
Yes, I'd like a reading from you. I've gone through some tough times this year and last year, and I'm at the point in my life where I just want to do something for myself. This trip being one.
All right, hold on, Francis. We're running out of time. So the less you talk, the more time I get to talk to your spirits. And I got a male energy coming through that feels like he could be a paternal energy. So this could be a dad, an uncle, or a grandfather. And I feel that my throat is burning. So what this indicates to me that this gentleman was having difficulty with his throat, with his breathing. He could have been intubated based on if it feels like there's a pipe going down my throat, and it is not pleasant. My lungs feel like they are on fire. Now, the burning sensation, Francis, this could be a lung disease. It could be a lung cancer, but there was definitely some major issue with his lungs. And then I do feel the burning sensation and fluid buildup in the chest as well. So this could be congestive heart failure or some other lung disease. I feel that he was very, very frail, and no big surprise there prior to passing, and that his passing took some time, and there was a sense of sedation, difficulty with mental focus and clarity prior to passing. And then he's also pulling me into the Scorpio timeframe, which runs from October 20th through November 20th. So there's a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event connected to him or to you or someone else close to either of you within Scorpio. All right, I know that's a lot, but does any of that make sense to you, Francis?
Not from my dad in that perspective. I don't know my grandparents, but that definitely wouldn't be my dad. He was healthy when he passed.
Hold on. It doesn't have to be your dad. It's a male energy on the father level. That could be a friend, an uncle, or some other male connected to you. Could even be somebody on your generational level that is older than you. So normally when I give a reading, an in-person reading, I spend about 10-15 minutes ahead of time explaining these before we get into the reading. Is there a male connected to you that died slowly, lung and throat issues, possibly lung cancer or some other lung disease, and heavily sedated, which makes a lot of sense given what I'm feeling physically with him?
Yes. Yes, that makes sense. One of my friends, yes.
Okay, very good, Francis. Give yourself a pat on the back. You're getting it. All right, you're getting it good. All right, let's see what he wants you to know. He goes, he says, a surprise is on its way. A surprise package. Surprise. Interesting. There's some type of surprise coming up. Let's see if he can. I know this this is funny. Do you know if you're getting a refund from the IRS?
I don't know that yet.
I'm getting no, that's what I'm seeing I'm thinking like a package, and all of a sudden I'm seeing a check popping out, and I'm seeing U.S. government. So I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised and get a refund from the IRS. And he said that that's because you're very diligent in all your record keeping. You cross your T's, you dot your I's, and he said you're honest to a fault, which is one of the beautiful virtues about you. Wow, that's very complimentary. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
All right. Now hold on. Now it says blood work. Did you just get some blood work? Are you scheduled for blood work? But you need to get some blood work done. Don't panic. Doesn't necessarily mean anything negative, but I'm tasting a lot of sodium. This could indicate your sodium levels are high. This may also be an indicator that you may have an issue with blood pressure. Could be high, which would be too much sodium. Could be low, which may be not enough sodium. But there's something with you need to get blood work to get your baseline stabilized. Anything there?
Yes, Monday. I went for blood work Monday. I'm staring at the bruise still.
Okay, so you don't have the results back. Well,
not yet.
It'll be interesting to find out when a spirit gives us a message of an explanatory nature, and then they follow it up with an objectively verifiable fact. Okay, which is get your blood work done. No, the advice and explanation was the surprise or a refund, and then the verifiable fact is the blood work that you just had done. So you know what? Call us back after April 15th, and we'll continue this reading in this session with you.
Yeah, and Peanut, listen, don't hang up. Don't hang up, Peanut, because Nat's going to give you my cell phone and you give him yours, and I will call you tonight.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
All right. God bless you, Francis. Thank you. What a great show, Dr. Pat. You know what? This was so much fun.
I was thinking about her about 2 weeks ago, and I started to Google and Facebook, and I tried to send a message, and Facebook banned me.
Yeah.
I think because I was trying to use what I grew up calling her, and I think they thought I was saying something nasty. I wasn't, Francis. Mark, thank you so much. I'll give out your website, Mark.
It is Afterlife afterlifefrequency.com, just like my book, The Afterlife Frequency. Please sign up for my newsletter. You can find out about my events coming up, how to schedule a reading with me. And you know what, Dr. Pat, I had so much fun tonight. Let's do it again next week at the same time. Let's do it. All right, everybody. Thank you.
And then we could talk. Then we could talk about, did what we say about the solar eclipse actually happen to people? Thank you, guys. Take care.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.